Good morning everyone. Greetings from NVPS and hope everyone are doing good and staying safe at home. Now coming to our academics, let us discuss an important topic from light, that is reflection of light from 10th class. Let us see what is light first. We know that light is a form of energy. Light is a form of energy which is responsible for causing sensation of vision. So light is a form of energy which causes sensation of vision. Now in that we know light travels in a straight line path and it chooses a path which takes least time, all these things. We studied that in previous classes. Now we will discuss about reflection of light in this chapter. Along with reflection, what is reflection, what are laws of reflection and types of reflection, types and image formation in different types of surfaces, that is on a plane mirror and on curved surfaces. Let us see what is reflection. See, if you are able to see the things, then that is because of reflection of light, not because of light, but reflection of light. So when light falls on any object, then those light rays will reflect back and reaches our retina, then only we are able to see the objects. That means in the basic phenomena that involves in seeing the objects is reflection of light. Let us see what is reflection. The process of bouncing back of light when it falls on a reflecting surface is known as reflection of light. So the process of bouncing back of light. So that means when we incident a light on any object, then it reflects back and reaches our retina. So that process we call that as reflection. So I repeat, reflection is a process of bouncing back of light when it falls on a reflecting surface. Then what are laws of reflection? There are two laws of reflection. For example, consider this as a reflecting surface. Draw a perpendicular line to this. So this perpendicular line we call that as normal. Now consider a source of light over here. Source of light, let it be a torchlight or candle or bulb, whatever it is. So the light ray, when the light ray is incident on this, the rays that are coming from the source of light, we call them as incident rays. So that is incident ray. This is normal. Perpendicular line drawn to the reflecting surface, we call that as normal, and the light rays that are coming from the source of light, we call them as incident rays, and after incidenting on this, the light bounces back. So the bouncing back of light, these rays which are bouncing back, we call them as reflected rays. Reflected ray. So incident ray is denoted with I, reflected ray with R. So the angle between normal and the incident ray, we call that as angle of incidence, angle I, and the angle between normal and the reflected ray, we call that as angle of reflection, angle R. So from this we can say that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So if we observe, if we take a torchlight and if we incident that light on wall, it bounces back with the same angle. So that means angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. For example, if you are unable to observe that with the help of light, you can observe the same phenomena with the help of a rubber ball. If we take a rubber ball and if we hit that with certain angle to the wall, it comes back to us with the same angle. That means the angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection, and that is first law. And the second law is incident ray, normal and reflected ray, they lie on the same side of the plane. If we consider this as plane, so incident ray, normal and reflected ray, they lie on the same side of the plane. So these two are the laws of reflection. First one is angle I is equal to angle R, and incident ray, normal and reflected ray, they lie on the same side of the plane. So these are laws of reflection. So what is reflection? The process of bouncing back of light when it falls on a reflecting surface is known as reflection of light, and and it has two laws. One is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and the other is incident ray, normal, and the reflected ray, they lie on the same side of the plane. Now coming to the types of reflections, let us see types of reflection. There are two types in reflection. First one is regular reflection. Regular reflection. Second one is irregular reflection. Irregular reflection or diffused reflection. Irregular or diffused reflection. Let us see what is a regular reflection. So, when light is incident on a regular surface, a regular smooth surface, for example, consider this as a regular smooth surface, then the reflection that undergoes is called as regular reflection. In regular reflection, all the two laws, that means angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection, and incident ray, normal, and reflected ray, they lie on the same side of the plane. So, in regular reflection, laws of reflection will be applicable all the time. Now, coming to irregular reflection. What is irregular reflection and where does it take place? Irregular reflection takes place if the reflecting surface is not smooth or irregular surface. For example, consider this as a reflecting surface which is not smooth. So, consider this as an irregular surface. Then when light falls on this, it might move after reflection, it might move in different directions. We can't say that the angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. It might be or might not be equal. From that we can say that the laws of reflection may or may not hold for irregular reflection. So, if the reflecting surface is irregular, we call that reflection as irregular reflection or diffused reflection. Why we call that as diffused reflection means because of the irregularities of this, some portion of the light will be absorbed by the irregular surface and it will move in different directions. Okay. So, these are the types of reflections, irregular reflection and regular reflection. Now, coming to image formation. There are two types of surfaces, one is plane surface and the other one is curved surfaces. So, let us see how image will be formed when the light is incident on a regular plane surface. So, image formation on plane surface. Image formation on plane surfaces. For example, plane surface is nothing but the mirrors which we use in our home, that is an example for a plane surface or plane mirror. Okay. So, let us see the characteristics of plane mirror. So, when we are seeing our face in a mirror, or for example, if we are seeing anything in a mirror, what are the characteristics of that? The size of the object will be same and the distance between the mirror and the object will be equal to the distance between the mirror and the image, and the image is always laterally inverted and the image that is formed is erected image. So, virtual images will be formed. So, what is an virtual image? The image which cannot be captured on a screen, we call that as virtual image. So, the images that are formed on a plane mirror are virtual images, virtual and erected images. Virtual, erect. Erect means stand straight. So, in opposite to inverted, erected. So, as it is, the object appears to be as it is, and the size of the object is equal to size of the image. Size of the object is equal to size of the image. And for example, consider this as a plane mirror. I am taking an object whose length is 10 centimeters and its image, I can see its image over here with the same size, that is 10 centimeters, and the distance between the mirror and the object, this is object and this distance, consider this is 1 meter and this will also be 1 meter. If we keep an object at certain distance, So, the image will also be formed at the same distance. So, that means the distance between the mirror and the object will be equal to distance between the mirror and the image, and same size of the image will be formed, and virtual and erected image will be formed, and also laterally inverted image will be formed. Laterally inverted. Laterally inverted means left side of the object appears to be right and right side of the object appears to be left. So, laterally inverted images. Laterally inverted. So, these are the characteristics of the images that are formed by a plane mirror. First one is virtual and erected images are formed, same size of the object